Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Josh from A.P.I.
And I'm Nicole, and we're here tonight to have a discussion with our medium, Liv.
Hi, guys. I'm A.P.I.'s medium and Reiki practitioner, as well as a crystal healing practitioner. I have been a medium pretty much my whole life. I was about 5 years old when I really started realizing that people around me might not be having the same experience through life that I was, whether it be smell, taste, touch, sound, vibration. If you've ever encountered somebody who has loss of hearing, a lot of times they pick up off vibration. Myself as a medium, I do struggle actually with part of my hearing and do use vibration to pick up a lot of what I pick up energetically. Moving on from that and kind of back to more of my introduction, I have worked professionally as a medium, honestly, since like 2019. So while that might not seem like a very long time professionally, I come from generations of women who have done this, as well as men who are healers.
So the first question is, what does a medium mean to you, and how would you personally describe it?
Honestly, being a medium to me can mean a bunch of different things, as it can mean a bunch of different things to anybody. Everybody has different sensitivities, different ways they feel, different things they pick up on. Where somebody might be clairvoyant or clairescent or claircognizant, somebody might be more medium, or somebody might even flow Reiki but not be attuned to it yet.
Okay.
So there are a bunch of different ways that people can pick up on anything from energy to spiritual energy to demonic energy. We can kind of go all across the board. To me, it has always been a combination of things. It's never been like just one thing. I feel like when, at least in my experience, when we go on investigations or when I'm trying to, whether it be channel someone or bridge someone or just try to pick up on a general energetic vibration, I'm using all of my senses. It's like using your senses but being able to use them also in, if you want to call it the spirit realm, and other dimensions. But
so you almost want to be like fully in tune to whatever atmosphere you're in.
Yes, exactly. You want to be not only in tune to your environment, but you want to be in tune to yourself so you can understand what is you and what's affecting you. A lot of people who think they are mediums are, it's just they don't necessarily know how to properly tap into that energy, whether it be source, spirit, God, universe, whatever you want to like call it or label it. Some people just don't know how to necessarily tap into that. They've never been taught or directed, and there's no, this is a guide to how to become a medium. And I'm sure there are 1,000 of them out there, and you can read and you can take anybody's opinion you want, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to trust your gut, and you have to be able to know what is me and what is my surroundings. You have to be in tune so externally, or so internally, so that nothing around you externally really phases you. You're able to clearly and like kind of concisely decide, okay, this is an actual interaction, and this is something that maybe, is a feeling or is an energy, but also maybe of me. You have to really be able to decipher, and I think that takes a certain amount of being in tune. And I will be honest, I have met several mediums who have no idea what in tune is, and not that that's a bad thing, but their energy can be unstable, and honestly, it can, I don't want to say lead to inaccurate readings, but it can lead to inaccurate readings, because if somebody is not confident in what they're being told or feeling or however they're perceiving it, I feel like they're even less confident trying to tell someone, and they might be more likely to embellish it because of that.
So pretty much not everybody has the ability to be a medium.
No. Okay. I would not say that everyone does. Do I think that we all have the ability to tap into spirit or source energy? Absolutely. Do I think it is going to be the same way that a medium per se would, or how someone who is a Reiki would? Is it going to be like the same channel? Not necessarily.
So how would you describe your senses in normal everyday life?
This would have been a question that would have probably been a lot easier to answer like 6 months ago. Yeah, actually almost like 7 now. Actually longer than that. That would have, when we went to Kaufman in October.
So
Jesus, excuse me. That would have been like literally 10 months ago. Holy hot stuff. So 10 months ago, we went to the Kaufman Tavern, and at that point, when we had been doing pretty consistent investigations, and I was a lot more active in the team than I am right now, I'll be completely honest. I am getting more active, but that has a lot to do with what I'm about to share with you guys. So I had been channeling. One of the gifts that I'm really blessed with is channeling. Unfortunately, I had gotten kind of very excited about this investigation and had decided to channel whatever spiritual energy or just energy in general I had felt was there. And what I ended up channeling was very, very dark. And I was in a place where I had not been what I would call fully open with my gifts. I was not at a place where I was 110% in tune with myself, which I feel like you have to be that like extra 10% in tune with yourself, so devoted to being in tune with yourself to really not, it's not that it's not organic, but it's like it's not, I could be giving more, or I could be more accurate or doing better or grab more information. I could be giving more to my team, more to the people around me. So why not be more in tune? And not every medium is going to feel that way, and I understand that and I respect that. But for me, it was that way. So about 6 months ago, I actually had like a lot of health problems. And during this time, I had an experience when I was in the hospital. It was actually like a very near-death experience. I almost lost my eyeball. And so I had been in this hospital for a while, and it was like 2 or 3 days, and I wasn't getting better. I wasn't responding to anything. I had this it was honestly like a near-death experience. I communicate with spirits all the time, but I will admit this was kind of miraculous and very special and a little bit perhaps too personal to share the entire experience. However, what it did was open me fully and make me so in tune with myself that I could no longer deny certain parts of myself that I maybe had not been paying as much attention to. Therefore, I am the most in tune and fully open I've been possibly ever in my 27 years, which is kind of scary to me, but kind of cool at the same time. It kind of gives me a real opportunity to explore what I can do with my gifts, not only with our team, but personally, and how much I'm really able to help people, which is kind of why I started even doing mediumship and Reiki professionally, was to help people. So I guess the best way to kind of tie all that together is to say that 6 months ago, or last year when I was really active with the team and doing investigations, when I was experiencing it in everyday life, it would have honestly probably been pretty normal. I would have felt energy and vibrations, and I would have felt maybe an energy or a spirit or a certain vibration that I felt drawn to, or that would come visit me or directly call out to me. But that was 6 months ago, and that was I guess more so when things weren't as open, you know? And when things weren't as open, it was very different than, I guess, kind of how things are now, for lack of better terms.
So how exactly do you feel when you walk into a haunted location?
Better yet, how do you know a place is actually haunted?
So, two-part question. I like it. We're going to start with part one. So, I guess the part that I wouldn't even say the feeling that I always look for, I hate to say this, but like there's like two ways this goes.
So like for me, for instance, I'm not a medium, okay, but like I can walk in somewhere and I'll sense something.
Yep.
So do you feel similar, or is it completely different than that?
No, I agree. It actually has, thank you Josh, actually, that it has a lot to do with sensing something. Now, what the something is, that energy can affect me totally differently. That's the thing. So I'll definitely sense something, but it'll come to me in different ways depending upon where we are or what it is, or who it is. Sometimes it'll be a vibration that I can feel, or a frequency I can hear in my ears, almost like tinnitus.
Jeez.
Or it's like you get touched, like I've been touched on a few of our investigations, and you can just feel it. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what it's like to not feel it. So I don't know.
I have goosebumps. I don't know if you're just making me feel something or not, but hey, I'll take it. I mean, I sense it, but I don't know exactly how it is for you.
Yeah.
You explain a little bit about the vibration and stuff. So we're not mediums, we're just paranormal investigators. So for us, even though she's a part of the team, it's pretty cool to hear her side, what she feels and how she experiences things.
It's definitely weird sometimes though. It's like, not in a bad way, but like when we're on investigations, like sometimes everybody's like, oh yeah, let's like set up our stuff, and I'm like here for that, but sometimes I'm like, holy crap. Especially when we have locations like Kaufman Tavern, for instance. Like it's a great location, it's beautiful, it's fantastic, but like me channeling Mr. Kaufman's presence was like really rough. Like those 2 weeks leading up to our investigation there, I mean, our event there was great, and thankfully I really had worked on kind of separating myself from channeling Kaufman Tavern by then, but just that ordeal in itself taught me so much about moving forward, kind of how to deal with a lot of the overwhelming energy that brings, like, from investigations. If we look back, like, from when I first started working with the team, like with Karen's, like I can remember going to that investigation the first time with it was just me, Josh, and Bill. One of the first times we went up, we were just kind of trying to get more information for her, validate some claims, and see if we could, you know, if anything, just bring her some comfort and some protection, truthfully. And I can remember walking in there and feeling super overwhelmed, and not necessarily at that time knowing how to handle it. And now we're kind of at a point where it's more manageable and more understood.
In your opinion, what percentage of mediums are actual mediums?
So I'm going to say the same thing that I said when I heard this question. I don't like this question, but I do. I do understand why it's valid, and I do understand why people have this concern. So I think that I couldn't give a percentage necessarily, but in my opinion, what I feel like I could say, it all depends on knowledge. So when you're a medium, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you're given, the more direction you're given, the more you get in tune. Again, I'm going to bring us back to this, but get in tune to yourself and let what knowledge comes to you, like, kind of flow with it and continue to grow from there.
So do you feel, in your opinion again, that there are a lot of people out there that actually don't know that they are mediums?
I don't even know that I'd say it's that people don't know that they're mediums. I think it's that there are a lot of people that are mediums but don't know how to properly use their gift. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying about being directed. While information can come to you freely, and everybody's going to have an opinion that is a medium about how you should be a medium or this and that, and everybody's got their preferences. And that's okay because they're in tune enough with themselves to know, hopefully. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people I have come across, I shouldn't say a lot, we'll say like roughly 50%, realistically, of the mediums that I've personally met, come across or worked with, or somebody coming up to me being like, oh my god, you're a medium, I'm a medium too. Maybe like 50% of the people I've actually worked with or have known were actually in tune with themselves enough that I would say they were somebody capable of providing accurate, authentic information.
So I think it's a safe bet. I know you don't want to put a number to it,
Yeah.
but it's half, maybe a little bit less than half of maybe mediums are actually fully open and in tune.
Yeah, I would hands down say that. Actually, I would even take in tune's one thing, being open and in tune's another thing. So
this is why
So
I'm not a medium. I already screwed it up.
So being open is so important because it's, for some people, to me, it's keeping my third eye open, keeping my ears open, my senses open, keeping my heart open, my mind open, not being afraid to see, hear, feel anything that comes my way, but not having a formed opinion or a fear or, you know, any kind of discernment towards anything. It's just kind of, think of it as actually, this is a great way to describe it. Holy shit, thank you, universe, whoever said that, whatever. Sometimes a thing that I've noticed too, since I've become fully open, is I'll get random downloads, like this beautiful piece of information I'm going to share with you guys right now. My active mediumship currently, with me trying to describe open, is like an open ocean. But I'm on the shore. The waves crash, but I'm watching. I don't have to be involved in anything. I don't want to. I don't have to feel anything that I don't also open or consent to feel, if that makes sense. So I'm essentially watching all of the energy, feeling however I'm perceiving it, but I'm the person on the beach watching the waves crash.
So like that would be kind of controlling it, like you're the person on the beach kind of controlling what you're seeing.
It's not necessarily controlling as much as I don't have to get overwhelmed in like that emotion ocean, or the overwhelm ocean of not being uncertain of, or maybe the better thing to say than uncertain would be getting attached to a feeling so much that you felt like you were drowning in it.
Do you have any medium equipment that you use while you're on investigations?
I wouldn't necessarily call it equipment as much as natural elements.
Okay.
So, not only am I a medium, but with being a Reiki practitioner and being a crystal healing practitioner and having that connection to crystals, something I often use on investigations are going to be crystals just like these. So this right here is going to be obsidian, and then this right here is clear quartz. These are two of my favorites, and I know these are also two of Nicole's favorites as well. Something that Nicole and I have really vibed over is our love for crystals. And I know that I know that Nicole always does this when we go on investigations where everybody has like, is it a different pendant or is it a different pendulum? Or a different stone at this point? Because I know you found pendulum, that's what I thought.
Yes, we all choose our pendulums. Yes. We close our eyes, we lay all the pendulums out, we close our eyes, and we feel the energy of the pendulums, and whatever our hands are drawn to, that is the pendulum that we use that evening.
Exactly. And that's kind of like what I do when I bring crystals to the investigation. It's exactly what I do is I think about normally, and this is something that honestly I can't speak for right now, but I will speak for like on investigations like Karen's. Going there the first time, like I had been there, I just kind of tried to feel, for lack of better terms, kind of channel the energy before I went there, and kind of from there be able to go into my repertoire of crystals and feel like, okay, what am I drawn to when I hold this energy? You know, what can I use to make the biggest impact for someone?
So now I noticed that there's some mason jars you have. Is that any type of things you use for?
Absolutely. So we can use basically the things around you. You can make infusions with different types of protection waters, or even people hate to use the word spell or oftentimes demonize it, and more so think of it as like I like to think of it as more like a protection mantra. It's not necessarily a spell, but it's like a mantra or an affirmation. Like I'm affirming to myself that I have the power, for instance, to do whatever I need to do, you know. Or one of my favorites is calling your power back to you. So, and that's something else that you can also use these for. You can basically create moon water. You can make different spells out of water like we were talking about. And like, for instance, this one right here, this is a protection spell. You can put the dates on them. The biggest thing I like to tell people when they get into this, not just, I should say from personal experience, is make sure, again, whatever you do is in tune with you and that you make your practice your own, no matter what it is. For instance, with moon water, I'm a little bit more hesitant to just leave it out for one night. I want to leave my moon water out from the time that the full moon first comes full, like 2 days after that, so it gets the sun energy. Where somebody, you know, for instance, they might not do that with their infusion or their tincture or their protection spell. I think it's different for every practitioner, but for me personally, these can be particularly helpful, if I could talk, these can be particularly helpful on investigations. Just like when we were at Karen's, like, I know that we've used holy water and tar water there. So those were, not only were they vital to keeping us safe, but they were vital to keeping everyone involved safe, like the homeowners. And on top of that, making sure that we, if not necessarily, I hate using the word get rid of, and I hate using the word vanquish, but neutralize whatever energy is there.
What would be the most active place you've been to with the team that you can think of?
Oh, hands down, that's going to be Coffin Tavern. Like that 2-week period that I've talked about a couple times prior, and that before we went, like me channeling that energy, there was nothing like that. That was the first time I've ever on an investigation let anyone write through me too. Like we did a channeling where I actually let someone use my body as a conduit to write. And when I did that, I didn't know that. So before investigations, typically I am told, excuse my language, not shit. I am told very little. I'm normally not even told often where we're going. I was told where we were going because I had to know and I had to have a ride and blah, blah, blah. So this time I found out and I was like, oh, I'm going to channel and try to, really pull out the big guns. And instead what I did was make myself so overly sensitive and so overwhelmed and so attached to certain parts of that haunting that I felt like very discombobulated for part of it, but I think it was more so overwhelmed. And that's why like me being able to channel like Catherine, who we later found out was Catherine, was like, I think not only just such a big piece of evidence for us on that investigation, but personally was like a really big feat for me because I was able to kind of keep Mr. Kaufman's energy at a distance while still like, it's not even like dissociation or stepping back. It's like I just stepped out of my mind's eye and let her step in to do what she needed to do and kind of use my physical body for her to be able to shift out, for me to be able to shift back in, which sounds weird, but to be able to kind of verify that evidence. Like I didn't even know her name was Catherine until after I wrote that, or that you would spell it like that. Like it's not an average, she didn't spell it regularly, she spelled it Kathryn. Okay, so scariest paranormal. My scariest paranormal moment, honestly, is going to be when Nicole and I got thrown at Karen's. So we were on an investigation. It was a residential up in Greenville. This poor lady that we've been working with for years as a team. We went up there and we were doing like a session where we were filming, but we were also trying to get a lot of info at the time. And Nicole and I literally walked up to her. Josh was in the hallway at her apartment. I walked up to her and I whispered in her ear what it was. And I get goosebumps anytime I talk about these things. But I whispered to her, like, it's a type of entity. And literally as soon as I said that, I had been hugging her on her side. Nicole felt hands and feet on her back and we got thrown into a wall, and like Karen had stuff on the wall over there. Literally the stuff got knocked off the wall. It was the scariest experience of my life. But it was honestly the most terrifying moment I've had. I never felt like something was like, I've had things touch me and grab me, but I've never felt like, even while holding Nicole and it touching her, I could like feel like the pure evil in this thing. And I've never felt like pure terror or pure evil or just something like with such consuming dark energy in my entire mediumship. Truthfully, it was terrifying. Like, hands down, the most terrifying moment.
What the dude, the K2 meters
is
freaking.
shaking.
Wait,
There's no.
Oh my
there's
God.
a huge scratch.
What the fuck? Ken, you son of a bitch!
Oh my gosh! Look, there's one there
Holy
too.
shit, that's a welt!
All right here. There's a welt.